All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome in 17 and some change. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. I am the Acudez, the only Acudez 17. I come to bring you my 2 cents. So, I hope everybody's doing well. And on this May 13th. Uh, yeah, yeah, it's May 13th. Yeah. I don't know if anybody listening or watching is old enough to remember the May 19th thing with Kane, when Kane was going to be doing, he was going to be starring in a movie. And I guess the movie was coming out on May 19th. So him and the WWE had this like ongoing May 19th, like everything, like he would start like saying the date, or the date would start like playing in the theater, and like he would go like crazy. um yeah, See No Evil. It was um I guess if it was a really good movie, I would have watched it multiple times. I watched it once upon a time. um I mean, the character was definitely a powerhouse, you know. Um, I think it's a character where like maybe if he got a sequel, like a sequel, and then another movie after that, maybe it could have became like a character or something like that. But no. Um, as a one-off, he's not legendary. He's not a legendary slasher person or whatever, based off of like his one-off role and stuff like that. Um, I want to tell you guys about a story and something that happened to me recently. I think I may be coming down with some sort of, not like a full cold, not like a actual like full illness or whatever, but definitely something in the air. Um, I eat a lot of oranges, so I don't get sick, like actually sick often and stuff like that. But I could tell, like, like when you want to become sick, like your body wants to become sick, but it just doesn't like fully get there. I think that's kind of the state that I'm in at the moment. But it's fine. We're gonna plow through. I'm gonna tell you about a story, a recent story that involves me, and where I um, had a pretty, interesting is one word for it. I had an experience, probably one that um, put me off to a company like entirely, for the rest of forever. But before I get there, because I already gave up the plot that it's not a good story, but it might have a happy ending. You know what I mean? It might still have a good ending, but so uh, let me kind of break down to you guys how it went. I ordered a Magic Johnson jersey. on the internet. Um, I ordered a 2X, and it came in as it came in as a medium, and I didn't like that because I wanted the 2X, and 2X is a lot different than a medium. I mean, maybe if it was like a 1X, uh, I could have done it. You know, I like kind of like I wouldn't say swimming in my clothes, but like recently, more recently, I kind of I'm kind of reverting back to like enjoying baggy, like enjoying kind of like a loose. So um no, the two would have been really good. The 2X would have been really good, but uh so it came in as a medium. Um it came in as a medium. I didn't, want excuse me if there's a slight um um I got there's other voices in the building here. Um that's kind of throwing me off a little bit. But we um I had I had to return it, and um you wait, you're excited to order something. I usually don't order stuff like that. You know what I mean? I like larger things. I usually don't splurge like that. I usually don't order stuff like that. Especially, the past handful of years I've been a lot more conservative. Um and I feel like every dollar that you spend on like clothing or something that's like, I try not to spend on ego and stuff like that. But like every dollar you spend on something is a dollar that you're not, that's not working for you, that you're not investing and stuff like that. But I figured it's a really nice jersey, and it's I like the color, and it's very historic, and it's something that I would be able to have in my arsenal, but it would be something that I have for a couple of not a couple, but multiple uh multiple years. It would be something uh, that I could hold on to for like 10 years. What I mean to say is it would be a staple in my wardrobe for a decade or two. So, especially in the summertime, it really, uh, I don't know, that yellow really pops, I got the medium, I drove it to the store, and because they said I could do the exchange or whatever. So I drove it to the store, and we ended up doing the exchange. Um, so, they took the product and ordered another one, 2X. And it's funny because the guy's like, "Oh, you're lucky. There's not. I thought there wasn't any 2X left, or whatever, because they were like out of a few sizes." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm lucky, huh?" So they order another 2X. I wait another week, and then when you get a shipment, when you have like a package coming, something that's like relatively important, um you kind of worry about it throughout the day. Like you either have to be home or have somebody be home for you or something of that nature. And I mean, I got cameras and stuff like that, but still, so you wait some more, another week, and it comes through and nobody porch pirates it, nobody steals it, and with a mask on or anything like that, and then you get it. I get it. It's I open it. Ooh, wow, what a nice popping yellow. Oh, it's a medium again. So this is the second time it's a medium when it's supposed to be an extra large. And at this point, I'm not very thrilled about that. Right? I'm not very happy that it's medium instead of a large. So I I end up I drive back to the place. Um, I drive back and I talk to the assistant manager, and he contacts customer support on my behalf. Like he contacts the place. Um, he explains the situation. He advocates on my behalf. He's like, yeah, this has happened twice. Ah, yeah, yeah. They're like, oh, they come back. They're like, oh, it was a SKU error. There was like a wrong SKU for the wrong product or something like that. And then um, they're gonna like write like they're gonna notate it, and they're gonna order it from their end on customer service and have it shipped to me. I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, I guess a lot of people at this point kind of would have given up on it, but that's wasn't really in the. I mean, it was two strikes. I'm like, all right, give it one more strike. You know what I mean? Um, and yeah, lo and behold, that strike did come very shortly after. I um I got home. It was a few hours later. Um, and I checked the shipment status, or the order status, I should say. And it said canceled. So I wasn't I wasn't happy again. I was I was upset again. And so I waited on it. Like I chilled on it. Like I called them the next day. I called customer service. I was like, yeah, like got the order. Like this is the third time trying to get the jersey. But now the order is canceled. And then they told me like, yeah, because a 2XL was ordered, but they don't have that size anymore. And I was like, that's really unfortunate that you sold out of that size, because like technically I should have had that size like twice over. Like I paid for the size while it was still available. Um but that's neither here nor there, I guess. Um so no size, they're like, yeah, we can refund you on a gift card. I was like, bro, I don't want a gift card. There's nothing from you guys that I want at this point. Like at this point, the association of Dick's Sporting Goods is a traumatic one, right? Like it sucks. Like you get your hopes up and you wait, and then you get disappointed, and then you carve out more time from your life and you go, and it becomes a freaking saga. And it's just like it was very interesting practice for emotional regulation and stuff like that. And I'll get to that. I'll get to that later. So yeah, customer service tells me they can refund my card. This is after like 30 minutes, of course. And I'm like, nah, I don't ever want to do business with dicks ever again in my life. And they're like, all right, so here are your options. They're like, you can, we can send you a check and that'll take 10 to 12 weeks, or we can put the money on a gift card and you turn it in the store for a refund. Um, because I had a gift card from them via the second transaction that we tried to do. So I was like, all right, yeah, I guess I'll do that. So I take the gift card, drive to the effing store once again. So this is like my third day where I have to like attend to this. And the manager is like, let me talk to, so he wants to confirm it. Like I give him the reference number of the conversation that I had with customer service. He wants to confirm it because it's not like they don't do that. They don't just like exchange like gift card for cash. Like, so they talk to the people and then they want to put it on my like original payment form. So I allow them to do that, and that was that. Um, but I mean that it took a few hours to clear. Once they said that they had initiated the refund or whatever, I was still sus. It was like, yo, like I won't be thrilled until like I actually see this money in my account, and that took a few more hours. And in the meantime, I'm grocery shopping, or I stop for a few groceries, and oh, that's better. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say, silence sounds so good. Silence is such a beautiful sound. But sometimes, but um, so I'm out and I'm doing grocery shopping and stuff like that, or buying a few groceries because of um just needing them in my house and stuff like that. But I'm livid at this point. At this point, I'm livid. I'm having a difficult time putting things into perspective. I'm telling myself, I'm walking myself through. Um, this is just a jersey. This is just a temporary setback, uh, and things like that. But these are things I've already had to like tell myself all throughout the saga. Like this has been a multiple week saga, and it's tough for some people dealing with certain setbacks and certain you know feelings of loss of control. Right, this is something that you expect to, there's a lot of, you expect to be able to press a few buttons and then they bring the thing to you and you have the thing that you want. To have to go through all this uncertainty and all these steps and to just be thrown and to be at the mercy of a of all these moving parts and things not going your way. It taps into it taps into primal parts of our emotional circuitry and stuff like that. And it's you know it's tough with words. It's tough with words. I was telling myself all the things, like I said, like, oh, this is temporary, like there's other Magic Johnson jerseys in the world, like, you know shit happens, whatever, whatever. Like, it's I was telling myself, like, it's silly for me to be as worked up about the situation as I am, and I should be able to, do something about it. And I'm also recognizing that it's the same emotional circuitry. Like, if you extradited the situation instead of, so let's say, extracted the situation. So let's say, instead of, oh, it's a jersey that you're getting your hopes up for, and then you think you have it, and then it gets taken away. Um, and then you think you're going to get it again, and then you think you have it, and then it gets taken away, and then you think you're going to get it, and then it gets taken away. So let's swap, instead of like a jersey, if you did that to somebody with like food, or water when they're starving or something like that, or dehydrating, you know this is the same. That's extrapolated, um but it's the same circuitry that's being activated. And my dumbass, I'm telling myself, I'm like I'm realizing that. I'm like, all right, this is, and I'm telling myself, like, yeah, it's not as bad as, if I was, being denied food after thinking I'm getting food after a week without eating or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm recognizing that it's the same thread that's being pulled, but it's like such a freaking low level of it, right? It's such a low dosage of that particular type of pain. I'm like, if I can't deal with this low dosage of not getting what I want, how would I ever be able to deal with a high dosage of fucking getting denied something that you really want? Um, which you know, I have experience with as well. But, and so all these thoughts and all these pep talks, they're not, I mean, they're keeping me from crashing out. Like, to my defense, like, to my credit, like, I wasn't crashing out. I wasn't like taking it out on the employees or anything like that. I wasn't like, you know what I'm saying, like speeding like really extra fast on the road because I'm like freaking raged or something like that. Like, I didn't crash out or anything like that, but it was bothering me, right? It was bothering me a lot. Um, and then something happened. I'm getting in my car, and I look, and there's a girl, um, maybe autistic. Looks like that could have been the case, but she's in a wheelchair, and she's being pushed in a wheelchair, and she's gazing up at the clouds, and like in amazement and in fascination, and just like enjoying the beauty of the clouds, and like just enjoying the beauty of the day and stuff like that. And while she's disabled, and I look, and the place that I'm in just so happens to be across the street from a cemetery, you know. And so those two combinations of things, like they just, it kind of snapped me out of where I was. It just instantly brought perspective back in a way that the words that I was telling myself couldn't. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe that was God, or maybe that was me. Maybe we're both the same, but I don't mean that like, I mean, maybe I, it's complicated, right? I don't, but yeah, and then, so then and then I kind of, then I was like, yeah, then everything that I was telling myself, uh, became true. Like, it was like an example. It was like an example of a lot of the things that I was telling myself, and then so for the rest of the day, I was in a great mood. I was like, appreciative, and like I was gonna order another jersey like immediately. Like the whole time this saga was going on, I was eyeballing other jerseys and stuff like that. And then like after that, like at this point, like I don't even really feel like ordering one at this point. And maybe I will in a couple weeks or something like that. But it was really cool to have, to have a perspective brought back to me, so blatantly, like in that way. You know what I mean? Um, so and that's dicks for you. And so because of that story, I was trying to find like what theme this episode is going to be, based off of that story. And so the title of the episode is going to be dicks. So I was thinking, I was like, maybe I'll do an episode where the theme is just dicks, like about dicks, like a Q&A about dicks. And then uh I was like, yeah, I was kind of, not so sold on that one for whatever reason. You know what I mean? I was gonna, you know, talk to at least or at least a portion of my audience. I was gonna talk to them about like what it's like to have one. Like if they don't, you know what I mean? Um, in various ways, and then I was gonna talk like my opinion on them in general. But I think that this will be maybe like a special request type of episode. Um, I also wanted to. I also was gonna talk about retail sales and gratitude. Based off of this story. Um, so all right. So I think I can fit in all three topics. So so if you're a penis haver, then you're the rest, then the following like The following handful of questions isn't necessarily relevant to you. Um, these are for non-penis havers, people who are like curious, uh, maybe curious about what it's like to have the dick. So I asked Chat GPT for 5 random questions involving around that theme, and so I'm just gonna shoot it from the top. I'm just gonna go through whatever the questions are. That's kind of how I like to do it because even if it's not a good question, I could just be like, "Yeah, that's a stupid question." Next. So I'm just gonna speed roll through these. Um, what's something about having a penis that people who don't have one usually misunderstand? Uh, something about I don't have one usually misunderstand. I don't know. I think the phenomenon of like showers versus growers is a real phenomena. Um, so have you ever accidentally sat or moved in a way that caused sudden pain? I mean, yeah, but not really often. No, like that's it sucks like closing your zipper on that shit though. Like that's a bad one. Does it genuinely they said genuinely. Does it genuinely feel mentally different walking around knowing you can pee standing up? Or is that just normalized and never thought about? So let me see. I bet you like yeah, females do kind of think about that from time to time, and yeah, I know it's definitely not something that we ever consider. Actually, I mean, I could speak. Yeah, I don't ever. It's not really a thought like, oh, I can pee standing up. Look at all the places I can pee. Like, I mean, there's still whether you can stand up and do it or not. Like, people act like, and historically, yeah, females were like oppressed when it came to like bathroom access and stuff like that. And I mean, it was so bad that in the medieval times there was this concept of a urinary leash, um, and what that meant was that females, for the most part, they could only travel so far from their house as their bladder would allow them. But like with that being said, like as a dude in the modern world, you can't just because you can stand up like that doesn't and you're external, that doesn't mean you could just go anywhere at any time. Like there's still restrictions as far as that is concerned. You know what I mean? There's still like inappropriate places to be doing that, whether you're standing or sitting or in or out or whatever the case is. What's the most inconvenient thing about random erections in everyday life. Um, that was never. I mean, it's, I mean, it's obvious like how that's inconvenient. I mean, luckily that was never. You know, you have a part to play in that. I mean, even really as a teenager, that's not really a thing. Like you have a part to play with like what you kind of like entertain in your mind and stuff like that. Like it's not just like a random thing for most of the time. Um, what was that? Oh, okay. Um, if you could redesign one aspect of male autonomy for comfort or convenience, what would you change? I would give gills. I would give gills and maybe wings. Um, do you think most men are overly obsessed with dicks? Or is that just part of human nature? No, I don't think most men are overly obsessed with dicks. Um, when you think about dicks in general, do you mostly associate them with humor, sexuality, masculinity, insecurity, or something else? I don't usually think about dicks in general. Um, why do you think dick jokes are basically universal across cultures and age groups? Probably the same reason fart jokes are. It's just something that's like, uh, I don't know. People are silly creatures. Do you think society puts more psychological importance on penis size than it actually deserves? I mean, probably because it's like, too big is too big is a thing sometimes too. Like too small is a thing, too big is a thing, and like every uh mom always used to say fucking Forrest Gump there, but like every container has its lid. You know what I mean? And so like if everybody had a 12-inch, like it's just you gotta have different sizes and stuff. Um, so yeah. If humans evolved differently and didn't have visible external genitals, how different do you think male behavior and culture would be? I think that's just like a stupid GPT question. Like, I mean, we've worn clothes for a very long time. Like, you mean like we have internal genitals? Like we reproduce by like rubbing foreheads and it doesn't even feel good? I don't know. So thank you, Dick's Sporting Goods. You contributed to content. You made me talk about dicks because you just you made me do it. You just twisted my arm and you just made me talk about dick. All right. So Dick's Sporting Goods. And you know what? They took away guns back in like 2018 and stuff like that too. That was, but they're a retail store, right? Dick's is a retail store. So with that being said, I got some Q&As in regards to retail. But I'm going to make this one quicker because dicks suck dicks sucks. I think it would be apropos for that to be like the main part. Dick's is a retail store. So, what's the most mentally exhausting part of working at retail that customers usually never notice? The most exhausting part of working at retail that customers don't usually notice is probably like, to me, I mean, most, you can't say definitively. To me, the first thing that comes to mind is the uncertainty of customer behavior. Like, you never know what the hell these people, what the general population is gonna do. You know what I mean? Um, and you never know what they're gonna freaking ask you to do, or like they're just. Have you ever had a customer interaction that completely changed your mood for the rest of the shift? I would say yes, but like it's tough because you get like another person like right after that. So it's like yeah, but you get a lot of different people, so it's tough to kind of dwell on that. You know what I mean? What type of coworker makes a retail shift dramatically better or dramatically worse? Yeah, it just that depends on you. I mean, you would think that the right answer would be like, oh, somebody who doesn't take the job seriously or something like that. But some people like working with those types. They can kind of just like complain about the job together and stuff like that. You know, do you think working retail changes the way you behave when you shop elsewhere? Like it has, I think, for me. I mean, maybe the no, I was as pleasant as I possibly could be to those dicks employees. But yeah, no, I mean, I try to, you know, I realize that a lot of the things that I realize what is in like the retail employees control and what isn't in a retail employee's control, and I realize like how they view us as consumers, as customers, and stuff like that. And yeah, I try to be as pleasant as possible, not even like just instinctually. Like, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen happen in a store? I don't know, but I do remember I had a customer one time who bought a phone and then he came back in the next day trying to return the phone, and his reasoning was, and re- he kept reiterating that he is too stupid to buy a phone. You sold me a phone. I'm too stupid to buy a phone. You shouldn't have sold me a phone. I'm too stupid. I'm like, okay, I mean, you asked for the fucking phone, bro, but okay, that's fine. The fuck. And I sold him like one of the cheaper ones. Like, it wasn't like I tried to upsell his ass. Like, to make like commissions or anything. Like I sold him like a phone that like almost it was like an entry level phone. Like, is boredom or stress the bigger challenge during a typical retail shift? I'd rather take the fudging. I mean, the stress makes the day go by so quick, bro. Like, if you get a couple stressful ass customers, then you just went through 3 hours without even noticing it. But the boredom is like, I don't really get bored though. Like, I've never really been one to like to get bored. Like, I could just daydream and shit. But so for me, the stress. But even when like it's downtime, like it's like I don't like having to look busy. Like I never liked that. Like, oh, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. You got time to be stupid. But no, even on downtime, like sometimes you're worried about looking like you're not doing anything at all. And then other times you're just waiting for like the next headache, the next stressful situation. You're like, you can't really enjoy the downtime because like you don't want to like sink into it. You don't want to sink like lull yourself into that like chill day or whatever. And then next thing you know, Mr. Problems comes in. The guy that walks in, the first thing he says is, I have a problem. It's like, fuck. Tim, do you want that guy? Tim. What's an unwritten rule of retail that outsiders wouldn't understand? I mean, outsiders would understand, but like, don't interrupt lunch. And if you're a customer, don't. The more entitled you act, the more entitled you are, the less likely to like, the less of a full effort that you're gonna get from the employees, right? They're gonna do the bare minimum of what they know is like in their capacity. They're not gonna like do the extra call. They're not gonna like try to think outside the box. They're just gonna. I mean, a lot of retail like want to default to that, anyways. Have you ever had a customer is definitely wrong moment where you still had to stay polite? Yeah, but you just yeah, a lot of times, but that's actually pretty common. But if you could instantly fix one thing about retail culture, what would it be? Instantly fix. I mean, I'm not working in it anymore, so that's kind of less of an issue. Um, I mean, they do what they gotta do. You know what I mean? I've said my gripes in the past about sales culture. That's one thing. I don't like the idea of like being a shark in terms of your customers. Like, I don't like how salesmen think they're like fucking sports players or something, and they have batting averages and like records and like um but someday I do want to do an experiment because I have a theory and I want to do an experiment. I want to do uh one shop uh, staffed by career salesmen who do the dressing tight eh, and and you know they have their sales techniques and their big mouths and their fucking one store has these hyper aggressive fucking fucking salespeople, right? Um, that yeah, they go and they're sharks and they do the sales fucking defend obligation. I mean, fucking deflect objections and go in for the close and get the commission money. One store will have those fuckers, and then the other store will be staffed by employees who are product knowledgeable but can only answer questions. Like that's their job. Their job isn't to ask these people if they want anything. All they do, they be friendly. They're knowledgeable about the product and they answer the questions. And I want to see which store has one the most sales and then two the most retention because a sale isn't a sale without retention. If somebody comes and returns something that they bought from you because you said it was the next best thing since fucking sliced bread and then they take it home and it farts in its pants, buyer's remorse because you overhyped something, you sold them the moon and instead they got fucking cheese, then that's not a sale, you know what I mean? But that's an experiment that I want to run, and I'm willing to bet. I'm willing. I'm almost like if I had to bet, I would bet that the store that had the non-aggressive salespeople would would profit more than. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe I'm an idealist. You know, maybe I'm but I just, maybe most of society, maybe, but who the fuck have you ever met in your life that tells you I love salespeople? Like I love an aggressive salesman. Like when salespeople tell me things, I fucking believe them. Like, have you ever met anybody who says things like that? You know, um, I don't know how there's an entire culture of these individuals who think they're hot shits because they're seducing people with their charisma and getting these numbers, you know. Um, so I'm curious. I'm really curious to see. But so we'll talk about real quick. Um, maybe this should have been the longest segment, but it's probably going to be the shortest. Um, we're going to talk about gratitude real quick. We're going to answer a few questions on gratitude real quick. So the first one, it says, what's something small in your daily life that you probably take for granted until it's gone? Um, something small. I don't know, candy. You know, because you could say like walking, but that's nothing small, you know. But like candy, someday you get you don't have good teeth anymore. You can't do. Um, I would say the ability to enjoy uh, a certain amount of variety in your diet, you know, which that ability shrinks as you age. You know, as you age, you get closer and closer and closer to like whole food diets and like I can only eat potatoes and green beans. Um, but yeah, like just being able to like eat a bag of Doritos without feeling like shit or whatever. Um, you think gratitude is more of a mindset, a habit, or an emotion? I think it's definitely something that has to be practiced. Like it is so it's so easy for us to forget. It is so easy for us to just take things for granted. Because I mean, we are designed maybe by nature to explore and to grow and to build and to improve. Um, so you know, maybe we take for granted the foundation that allows us to do those things, which is health and um, yeah, right. Do you think gratitude is more of a mind? Oh, okay. Has there ever been a difficult period in your life that later made you more appreciative of ordinary things? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember working as an assistant manager for a local store, and I'll tell this story in full later, but like it was being used as a front to sell drugs, and it was in my community, and I didn't know that for certain. I was getting more and more suspicious of stuff like that as I was working there, and like they were like putting the trash in like weird places and just like showing up at like really strange hours and shit like that. Um, but yeah, no, I was straight edge. I was, you know, trying to restore a retail store. No, it wasn't. Well, would you? Yeah. Um, it's kind of a hybrid because it was kind of a grocery. But I was trying to restore it, and everybody else around me was at least like the three major people around me, including the manager, the other assistant manager, and the lead cashier that had been there for 100 years. They seemed to be in on this shit, um, and so they did everything in their power to get me gone, and I did everything in my power to have a presentable storefront to the community, you know. And so when I left, going back to work at a place that had normal people, like not like criminals, um, it was great. It was great. It felt great. What kind of person naturally brings out gratitude in you? Well, just because of recency bias, you know, I'm gonna say, you know, a downtrodden individual who still finds beauty in life, you know. You think people can be grateful while still being ambitious for more? I think that's essential. I think that's exactly what needs to happen for people. What's a modern convenience you genuinely appreciate on a regular basis? That's a good point. You know, when do we say thank God for shoes? Thank God for automobiles. Thank God for non leaky roofs. Have you ever had a random moment where you suddenly felt deeply thankful just to be alive? Yeah, I mean, it wasn't random though. Like, I died once upon a time. Like, I overdosed and shit, and I was just on like a party drug because I was a recreational drug user and it was party time. And I remember one of my homies, like when I had friends, one of my homies was like, "Yeah, dog, you don't remember? Like, you already took one? Like, these shits, like, they're pretty serious. Like, you will black out and shit like that." And I was like, "You didn't, you must not have heard who I am. I am George." I fucking OD'd and essentially died like the way they describe it, but I won't really get into that. But I was thankful the next day. I was like, "Oh shit, your boy's alive. What? Yo, hey, your boy's alive in the house." So yeah, I was pretty gassed about that. Do you think social media makes gratitude harder or easier to maintain? I would say it depends maybe on your algorithms or whatever. I know like yo, Facebook, bruh, Facebook be nuts. Facebook's all about like anger, mad, pissed off, jealousy, like Facebook's algorithms are definitively designed to enrage you. Like there you can't convince me 80% of the shit that I see on Facebook is seems specifically targeted at the things that I would find to be BS. You know, like, oh, guess what? Mayor just increases tax by 15%. Roads shut down. Murderer murders person that was innocent. 10 innocent people fall off. Shit. A country gets invaded. The left people hate the right people, and the red people hate the blue people. And I'm just like, scroll. I'm like, oh, look at this street fight. Look at this fucking argument in the store. Look at this complaint. Look at this conspiracy theory. I'm like, what the hell is going on Facebook? But nah, then like IG, like you can, I mean, depending, I don't know. Again, that might just be my fucking, that just might be my shit. But like, oh, you can scroll. I feel like IG has some really nice stuff. Like Instagram, I feel like Instagram's where it's at. Like you could become way appreciative for the world on Instagram. Like they got beautiful stuff. They got beautiful people. They got beautiful music. They got beautiful aesthetics. Like Instagram, like you could be looking at like beauty all day on Instagram. Um, wow, that's an interesting one. What's something about your current life that your younger self would be excited or relieved about? Probably my shoes. I think my younger self would like the shoes that I designed. I think that my younger self would be proud that I've written 3 books and started a brand and yeah, yeah, and I'm working it. I think my younger self would be proud of that. And then when you hear the word gratitude, what's the first? And this is the last thing. When you hear the word gratitude, what's the very first image, memory, or feeling that comes to mind? Um, Image, memory, or feeling? I mean, when I hear the word gratitude, I just like I'm like, yeah, I know how that feels. Like the feeling of gratitude is the first feeling that comes to mind when I think about gratitude. But speaking of gratitude, I am thankful for all of you, and I gratitude that you all exist. I thank you for watching the show with your time and things like that. And I implore you to come back next week so we can do more talking and listening and things of that nature. All right, y'all. Um, Safety and peace, and goodbye.